All right, fourth grade, today we are working on Module 4, Lesson 16. It'll take the next 2 pages of your notebook, and this is called Constructing Quadrilaterals. Constructing meaning that we're going to draw and build, quadrilaterals being our 4-sided shapes. So whenever you are ready, you're going to flip to your next 2 blank pages so we can begin. Pause this video if you need more time to write this down. Let's refresh our memory on what a quadrilateral is. Remember that quad is our hint from the number 4, like 4 quarters in a dollar, 4 quarters in a football game, 4 quarts in a gallon. A quadrilateral is a shape that has 4 straight lines. But they can have different sized lines, they can have different types of angles, so we learned 5 different types of quadrilaterals yesterday. Some are more familiar to us, like a square or a rectangle, while others probably felt a little bit more new, like a rhombus, a trapezoid, a parallelogram. So you might notice in this lesson there's going to be a lot of flipping back and forth between the notes that we took yesterday and the shapes that we're going to build today. Let's start in this top corner. Construct a quadrilateral with only one set of parallel sides. Which shape did you create? Okay, I'm going to start by drawing a horizontal line like this. I'll call this AB. All right. Now I want to make a line parallel to AB. If I make it the exact same length, like this, when I connect them, I'm going to have more than one set of parallel lines because up and down will also run parallel. I want to make it so only these 2 lines run parallel to each other. So to do that, I have to change the lengths of my lines, make one a little bit larger than the other. So I'm going to extend my second line out a bit and call it line segment CD. And now I have 2 lines that are parallel to each other. Now let's connect them. A to C, B to D. Now I have a quadrilateral with only one set of parallel sides. But what is this called? Let's flip back into our notes from yesterday. Okay. A quadrilateral with 4 equal side lengths and 4 right angles is a square, and what I drew doesn't look like a square. Nor does it really look like a rectangle either. So let's see. Which of our newer shapes only has one set of parallel lines? I can tell that both of these shapes have 2 sets of parallel lines because it says so in the definition, and I can tell by these double arrow notches that these are our second set of parallel lines. The only shape that has only one set of parallel lines, which actually looks a lot like what we drew, is our trapezoid. So the shape that we just made must be a trapezoid. Let's name this shape. Nice, okay. Let's try another one. This time we're going to construct a quadrilateral with one set of parallel sides and 2 right angles. One set of parallel sides and 2 right angles. Well, I'm going to start by building a line that runs horizontally again. We'll call this EF. I need to create 2 right angles, and I also have to create parallel lines. I'm going to start with the right angles. I know to make right angles, I need perpendicular lines, like this. Okay. Right angle. Right angle. Ooh, and when I connect them together in my 4th line of my quadrilateral, I'll name this G and H, I have another right angle and another right angle. So far, I've been able to build more than 2 right angles, but definitely 2 are in there. And I notice that these lines are parallel to each other. I also have another set of parallel lines right here. Now that would worry me because the last time it told us to have only one set of parallel sides. This one says we can have one set, but it doesn't say only one. So I think it's okay that we have 2. What would we call this shape? A 4-sided shape with 4 right angles. This would be a rectangle. But I noticed yesterday in my notes that a rectangle and a square are very similar to each other. I wonder if I also drew a square, would that also be a shape with one set of parallel sides and at least 2 right angles? Let's try it. Let's make a square where each of the side lengths are 3 units. I notice right angles just like my rectangle does. And I also notice parallel lines, just like my rectangle has. So actually, 2 shapes fit in. A square also counts as a shape with parallel sides and 2 right angles. So now let's take a look at some of the other shapes that we can make on the other side of our sheet. This time we're going to construct a quadrilateral with 2 sets of parallel sides. Which shape did you create? Okay, 2 sets of parallel sides. Well, I can start with 4 lines going across. And let's make it a little more interesting. I'm going to do another line that's 4 across. But I'm going to kind of put it at a diagonal because I learned that parallel lines, even if they're different lengths, even if they have different starting and stopping points, if they run in the same direction, they're still parallel lines. Okay. I notice that these lines are parallel to each other, as well as these lines. So let's see what we could call this. I'm going to flip back in our notes from yesterday. Okay. I'm looking for a shape that has 2 sets of parallel lines. That would be a parallelogram and a rhombus. A parallelogram is any shape with 2 sets of parallel lines. So this shape right here already is a parallelogram. Can a rhombus also follow these instructions? A rhombus has 2 sets of parallel lines, but we have to be very specific that all of the side lengths are the same length. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is close, but not quite there. Let's see if we can make the same shape, only where all the side lengths are the same. Let's start with a new line that's 3 units long. 1, 2, 3. We'll call this QR. I'm going to go down 3 units. 1, 2, 3. And I'll make another offset line. I made this line 3 units long as well. Everything I'm doing is in 3 units. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. because a rhombus has to have all the same side lengths. And now I connect. Yeah, just like my parallelogram, I still have two sets of parallel sides. A rhombus fits in. So here's our last challenge. We're going to construct a quadrilateral with all sides of equal length. Which shape did we create? I'm going to follow the diagonal lines of these triangles. I'll start with an endpoint, and I'm going to travel diagonally down 1, 2, 3 triangles like this. Now, it's important that all of my side lengths are equal. So if I'm traveling down 3 triangles, I also want to travel across 3 triangles as best I can. I know that'll be hard for me to see, so I might even take out my ruler. I notice that it's about 2 inches right here. So I'm going to go across and find where 2 inches is in triangles. And it looks like that'll take me to this endpoint right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles across. I want them to be the same side length, so if this is 3 triangles down, I'm going to go 3 triangles up. And now I'm just going to connect my last 2 points together. Like that. So now I have a quadrilateral that has all equal sides. Some other things that I notice is that these sides of my quadrilateral run parallel. And so do these sides of my quadrilateral. I also can't help but to notice my angles. I notice that I have right angles in the corner of each sides of my shape. So what do we call this shape? Let's look back at our notes and see if we can find any descriptions of shapes that have equal sides. Let's see. Okay. This one doesn't say equal sides, so it's not a trapezoid. It's a parallelogram because it's got all parallel sides, but let's really focus on our shapes that have equal side lengths. Like a rhombus. A rhombus has 4 equal side lengths and 2 sets of parallel sides. Are there any other shapes that we studied that also have equal side lengths? Let's check squares and rectangles. A rectangle has 4 right angles and that's it, but a square has 4 equal side lengths and 4 right angles. Even though this shape is at a tilt, I still see 1, 2, 3, 4 right angles. So not only is this a rhombus, this shape is a square as well. Now, like I said, this can get really tricky, and lots of times you'll notice more than one shape follows the same directions. So really use your notebook today and look back at the definitions that you wrote yesterday. Good luck!